Hello and welcome everybody to Overwatch All-Stars Brawl number 4, presented by Star Esports. Today we have a double elimination tournament dedicated to our Overwatch Tier 3 community. Today we are going to be watching 6ixGuns and Team 2 go head-to-head in match number 4 of our main bracket here tonight. I am Sir Waltham, and today I'm joined by none other than Shy Guy. Shy Guy, how you feeling today?
I'm doing fantastic. We already had one stellar match here tonight, and I am just rearing and ready to get into this next one.
Yeah, absolutely could not disagree more. Definitely ready to see where these two teams stand up. Both not the most unfamiliar names to this tournament, but before we get into the action, we do have a little bit of a pre-game interview with Don Tony from 6ixGuns. Don, how you doing?
Doing very good. Yeah, my name's Don Tony. I'm the main tank and captain for Team 6ixGuns.
Fantastic. Now, a lot of times we get team owners, team coaches, things like that. We don't often get a team captain. How do you identify your role as team captain within 6ixGuns?
I mean, it's nothing special. I happen to be the loudest and the weirdest, so I guess I bring the energy, so that would be why.
Fantastic. Now, other question I've kind of gotten into the habit of asking, and I'm curious to hear, the answer from somebody who's actually boots on the ground is, what is your team culture like? A lot of times we hear teams like, oh, we like doing this, and this. How would you say 6ixGuns identifies itself apart from all the other teams?
Well, I mean, we were one of the first teams to start a new comp going into it. We call it Bull Rat. It's the Winston Sigma Dive comp. We ran it in your last tournament, actually, and we haven't had too much success with it in the past, but recently we've been starting to get more success with it. And we've been together for so long. We've been together for a full year now. And so we're just a team that's, we're basically a family at this point, and we goof off, but we also take things seriously, so.
Yeah, it's very exciting to hear. I always like hearing those teams that have a little bit more tenure to them. It means that that they definitely have that cohesion built in. There's not as much of the new glue kind of trying to stick together. Fantastic. Now, obviously, if you have been watching any of our other games in this tourney so far, you'd know that our MVP polls decide who we're going to be interviewing at the end of the game. Do you think there's anybody on your team, and I'm going to even give you the option to say yourself, that you think the viewers should be keeping an eye out on?
That's a good question. I don't want to pick myself. I don't want to be the egotistical person. I think every single person on our team has the potential to get MVP. Legola has a disgusting Brig. He's so good at Brig. Bortle is Reddit Lucio god, but when it comes to team environment, he plays a team Lucio that's none other. Hidden Shadow is the best tracer in all of Tier 3. Isuya is a crazy good Sigma. He feeds for the team. It's great. Death is, he has barrages like none other, and he does it really fast. So I think, depending on how everyone plays, literally anyone can have it.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to seeing all of them pop off here. And I know we do have the teams lining up for Oasis pretty quickly here. Without giving us too much of a sneak peek, what do you think we can expect to see here on Oasis?
Ooh, I won't give too much away, but Oasis is it's one of those maps that is open for dive comps, so I'll just leave it at that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, very excited to hear that. But Don Tony, I think we are going to let you and the rest of your gang get ready for this match. But thank you for coming on in here and having a few words with us. Do you have anything you'd like to say before we head you off?
Go 6ixGuns.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Don Tony, for coming in here and answering a few questions.
Thanks. Peace, guys.
Now, Shy Guy, of course, the question is Oasis. What do we expect to see here? How do we expect to see it? What are your thoughts?
I'm personally I'm pumped to see what he was just talking about, the Winston Sigma dive. Yeah. I do not think I have ever seen that composition played before. This will be my first chance to get to see 6ixGuns play. Team 2, though, I'm quite familiar with. They had a pretty deep run in the last All-Star Brawl, ended up with a 4th place finish there, and they are returning pretty much the entire roster this time around. So I'm expecting big things out of this team in this tournament in particular, and 6ixGuns is really going to have their work cut out for them here tonight.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned Team 2. Something that you may not be so well aware of if you haven't been keeping up with the storylines and everything like that. Team 2 and 6ixGuns actually went head-to-head in the first main bracket in the last All-Star Brawl, in All-Star Brawl number 3. So 6ixGuns did not turn out so well in that round. They went 0-3. I think they're really going to be looking to turn things around, make a name for themselves here, and try to claim back a little bit of that pride that they may have suffered a hit to.
Yeah, absolutely. They had a bit of a rough draw in the last event, and it might be a similar story this time around. But we'll see what kind of improvements they've made, in the meantime. And as Don Tony told us, they've been seeing a little bit more success in their scrims recently, at least in terms of that kind of unique composition that he was talking about. So we'll see if that can come to fruition here on Oasis. It's going to be to start us off. We're kicking it off with City Center, which is going to be fascinating. We're going to get the opportunity to see Death on that Pharah, it looks like.
Yeah, and it looks like we're not going to be seeing the Sigma Winston dive quite yet. Hisuya going to be on that Wrecking Ball to start, but still setting up a good precedent here for the dive potential. We saw a little bit on Gardens, and I'm excited to see it here this time around as well.
Yeah, it looks like they just want to go kind of all in on the mobility here on City Center, and that makes sense. You've got so much wide open space, and they are already racing to the point, getting position, and they're going to be dealing with a much more kind of standard look coming out from Team 2, the Orisa Sigma, but Wannabe going to be the player to watch. He's got that McCree in play, going to be trying to keep Death and Hidden Shadow in check.
Yeah, it's going to be a good option here. This Pharah already trying to get some angles there. Not quite able to build up too much of a rocket barrage. That Sigma shield raised up by the side of PG1. Going to be able to keep a lot of that damage at bay, but for now it is just the Wrecking Ball contesting from the onslaught of Team 2 from getting the point completely flipped. And we look at Don Tony, he's kind of hanging in the wings. He's waiting, looking like they're trying to call a dive. Looks like they didn't quite take their opportunity just yet. They're taking this fight real slow here, Shy Guy.
Yeah, and crucially, they've already given up the point. They were just a hair too late to keep that flip from coming through. So they need to go in now if they want to get this fight going.
And it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to dive right onto it. Hidden Shadow taking down Wannabe. Losing that McCree is crucial both to your Pharah and your Tracer, but it doesn't look like they're able to keep the numbers up. Numbers start hemorrhaging onto the side of 6ixGuns, and it looks like with just a few members getting kills, it's looking like the point is going to stay in possession of Team 2.
Indeed it will, and the dive just has a little bit of a hard time. Once the point gets flipped over to Team 2, they don't have to stay out in the open. They can rotate into a bit more of a position with more cover. They can avoid those rockets from Death, and even though he builds up to that barrage, it's a strong start here for Team 2.
Yeah, Nick already having that Blizzard might be something to keep an eye out for as well. We look, and it looks like we're seeing a little bit of an early peak from Death, but they're not going to quite take too much of a hard engagement just yet as well. We see Tracer in the backlines ready to sneak up, get some early burst damage as well if possible. Gonna have to really watch out for that Brig as well. And Nick gonna be popping that Blizzard, but Death getting the Rocket Barrage kill onto 2. That Immort Shield gonna come out just a moment too late. Don Tony kept alive by their mercy. A lot of healing going on to that Winston, who does pop that Primal Rage. Hidden Shadow taking down Nick. Things are now starting to flip in favor of 6ixGuns, and this is the fight they may have been initially looking for.
Indeed it is, and they're going to be able to get the retake. It's just a matter of how quickly can they clean up these last couple of tanks. It's just PG1 left. He will get taken care of, but in the meantime, 85% on the board for Team 2 is fantastic. One thing that was excellent in that play there was Don Tony dropping that bubble up on the high ground to give Death some cover for his barrage. Kept him alive through all of it and allows them to clean up that fight.
Yeah, certainly. You like to see that. We're going to be seeing a couple of ults come online for the now attacking Team 2. We'll have to see how they utilize them. Wannabe, of course, going to have that high noon. Might try to force that Pharah out. Be keeping an eye out for that. Hisuya on the ball, just trying to maintain line of sight broken from the attacking side of Team 2. And they really want to get him locked down so they can get the point as flipped as quick as possible. But he's just going to continue to contest. They don't seem to even realize he's there. They're going to finally spot him out. He gets locked down. He gets halted. He gets frozen. Magic Mayfall going to be getting the final shot. Hidden Shadow seems to be getting the better of Wannabe in these 1v1s against Tracer and McCree. And another Rocket Barrage coming in from Death, going to be getting 2. Making a 3. The grab Flux coming in from the Sigma might have been a moment too late. Takes out Death, takes out Don Tony. But it doesn't look like the reinforcements are going to be there. And it continues to be held by 6ixGuns.
Yeah, that little tactic of Hisuya hiding on the opposite side of the kind of central pavilion, it buys enough time for Death to build up to that barrage once again. They never saw it coming. They had no clue that was online once again, and it really comes through to devastating effect.
Yeah, and even now we can see Death trying to build up a little bit of that ult charge, just trying to get that Rocket Barrage online. And now the ult's looking a little bit more favorable this time around for the side of 6ixGuns. That rally going to be initiated with CJ to really get up aggressive onto that point. The mines, however, coming in from Hisuya, going to be putting the hurt onto the Orisa. Hidden Shadow taking down the Immort field with that Pulse Bomb. The McCree coming out with the High Noon, taking down only Bortle, but Bortle does not have the option for that sound barrier anymore. And with that, it does not look like the team numbers are quite there for the defending 6ixGuns. They need to make something happen. They need to get kind of explosive with these kills, but Hisuya gets locked down before anything can happen. The Valk going to be popped from Legola just to try to keep everybody up and alive, or at least the remaining members up and alive, but is not quite able to find it. And in fact, at point will flip over to the side of Team 2 with only maybe one fight left to go from 6ixGuns.
Yeah, they have managed to keep most of the team alive, so they will be able to get in here for a final recontest with the full strength of their roster. And Death, once again, has that barrage ready to go.
Yeah, and we're going to have to see if they can make use of it. Magic Mayfall popping that window as soon as they have that ult online. The Ham and Pound going right on top of the Supercharger. But Hisuya gets locked down once again. They've been having such a tough time playing this Wrecking Ball into this composition right now. And Death going with the Rocket Barrage, not going to be finding any value as the shield goes up from PG1 to block a lot of that damage. The kills coming through for the side of Team 2, and although it does not seem to be finding too much success for the side of 6ixGuns, they're going to give their best shot, but it's not going to quite be enough. The first point's going to go over Team 2.
Yeah, just a little bit too much firepower left in the magazine there for Team 2 in that final fight. They had the Supercharger, they had the Amp Matrix, they had the Blizzard ready to go to lock down that point. But an explosive first round here on Oasis, a back and forth affair. Both of these teams coming to play in a big way so far.
Yeah, so far looking very good. I'm very pleased to see the performance that both these teams are giving out right now. We are going to be seeing a little bit of a pause call here as we get moving on to, I believe it was University.
No, we're headed to Gardens actually.
I had a 50-50.
Yeah, you know, it goes that way sometimes. But yeah, Don Tony having a little bit of internet issues at the moment. We'll see if we can get him back into the server in just a little while. But as we kind of look at how this is played out so far, it's really fascinating to me to see kind of the clash of styles that we are getting so far in the early stages of this series. That dive comp is really quite unorthodox right now. We're not seeing a lot of teams go away from that Orisa Sigma tank duo, but so far, you know, 6ixGuns, they have a unique approach to the game. And, you know, it worked quite well there. They don't come away with the win, but I was impressed with what they were able to do there on City Center.
Yeah, so we're getting closer and closer to the time where if they were being genuine, they were being serious about it. You know, we went through one map and we didn't see it. Do you think we see the Winston Sigma come out now, or do you think they're saving that for a little bit later? On the side of 6ixGuns, that is. I'm getting a little anxious here, Shy Guy, and I'm really ready to see these strats come through.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see it, but I kind of understand if they don't, at least here on Oasis. You know, the going full dive, it makes more sense on these control points than probably anywhere else in the game right now. So we saw it there on City Center. I have a feeling it might still be the case here on Gardens. As we head over to University, that is where we might get the opportunity. But of course, to get us there, 6ixGuns, they first have to get the win this time around.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think that is unforeseeable for them, given on how we saw the first round go. I think that we're seeing some serious competition come out from both sides. I think that if they had played their first push a little bit better, they had contested the point a little bit more efficiently. It could have absolutely gone the other way with them having, you know, significantly longer amount of control time on that control point, or at least not letting Team 2 have that time. So I think that, you know, this map's going to tell all, and we're going to be heading right into it here in the next couple seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and like you mentioned, that first cap was so vital. It gave Team 2 probably about 30%, essentially just for free, which you can't really afford. There's not a whole lot of room for error on these control maps. You can't afford to just give things up without a contest like that. So we'll just have to see if they can tighten things up a little bit. No real changes coming through for either side in terms of composition, and we're gonna see how this one plays out.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see if this Wrecking Ball might find a little bit more use this time around, but they're still going to be running up against a Mei in Nick, so maybe not. And Farah trying to do a little bit more damage as well, again, trying to get those very far angles, that burst damage that can come through. Not quite finding anything just yet. Farah already about 38%, however. Building up slowly but surely, and the point's going to flip rather quickly this time around, almost, that is, until Hisuya once again using this Wrecking Ball stall just to kind of hide away from the opposing team, prevent as much point progress as going over as possible. Yeah, they lose it again.
I mean, they're just kind of waiting until Death has the barrage. Like that seems to be their tactic for every fight at this point. I'm not sure how wise of a strategy that is, but we'll see if they can at least get this fight win.
Yeah, the question will the side of Team 2 counter it, or will they be able to fall victim to it? It doesn't look like they necessarily fall victim to it. Wannabe as well taking down Death. There was no Tracer from Hidden Shadow to peel that McCree out. Dontoni gets 1 kill, but it will probably just be a consolation prize.
It's a fascinating approach that 6ixGuns are going with here. They are as spread out as possible in terms of their positioning. You've got Hidden Shadow kind of playing in the enemy backlines, like deep. He was back towards the enemy spawn for a lot of that play at times, just trying to hide and find the moment to come in and capitalize on some of this poke damage coming in from Death. But so far, they're just having a bit of trouble really capitalizing on it.
They certainly are, and right now we're seeing Hidden Shadow almost up on that pole spawn. I'm going to see if they can get early pick, perhaps open this fight up a little bit more. Going to be very crucial if they can get it on something like the McCree or the Baptiste. We're going to be seeing Legola pop the Valk while they're just keeping in line with their Farah. However, they're going to be helping out Hisuya as they get dangerously low. Hidden Shadow going to be taken down. PG1 want to be taken down by Death's Concussion Blast, and it looks like things are going once again in favor of 6ixGuns. That is until Dontoni seems to throw themselves off the map, maybe a misplaced jump pack, but either way, it's just going to be a little bit of cleanup, and 6ixGuns are going to be retaking point. Okay,
this time they get the setup that they're really looking for. They're able to kind of collapse in onto the pseudo bunker setup of Team 2 and are able to get the flip. But once again, we're talking 89% on the board for Team 2, so you're giving up so much percentage in the meantime that it sets you behind so far.
Yeah, and Death going to be taken down rather early into the fight. Legola having to invest that res just to get them back up. Want to be taken down by Hidden Shadow, though. Once again, the Tracer proving to be a real bugbear for that McCree player. That means the Farah having a little bit more free reign in the sky, but it's not going to really help when the rest of the team, Team 2, that is going to just be barreling onto point, ready to go. Hidden Shadow doing their darndest to keep this point under lock, but they have to recall out, meaning that they're going to give up possession of the point. Point going under contest. Death taking down CJ before they can drop that Immort field. The Blizzard coming out from the Mei might be enough to secure this fight, but the sound barrier going to be coming in. Dontoni keeping a lot of teammates alive with that bubble post-mortem, and despite that going to 99, it's still going to maintain in possession of 6ixGuns for the time being.
Yeah, that was a good composure there from 6ixGuns. They didn't panic when they were losing that fight. They kind of back off. They hide a little bit. They wait for their respawns to get back in here. They have to give up a little bit of percentage for it, but they do stay alive on Oasis.
Yeah, they have been given a stay of execution once again. We'll have to see if they can make it count this time around. Not many ults online. Legola going to be having the Valkyrie again initiate very early with it. We've seen this player doing that quite a lot. And the contest already coming in. It's going to be Hisuya almost getting locked down by that Mei, but instead does not. And then manages to get away and break that line of sight. These rockets trying to come in, they just can't quite find the value that you might want and need if you're in that Farah. Dontoni coming in with a leap from the Winston. The boop onto Hisuya makes sure that Wrecking Ball not able to contest in that cheesy, spammy way that they like to do so often. Legola going to be bringing up Dontoni. Death taken down, however, the numbers are going back and forth, and by back I mean mostly forth. With that being said, but it looks like the numbers going to be claimed back again for 6ixGuns. Things are looking a little bit more even. The tanks coming back in now in full force. Those just dive tanks able to get in with such speed and grace as we know them to. And the Wrecking Ball gets 2. Devil and PG1 both knocked into the water. That is
they've got it.
Loss.
They've got it. It's just going to be Magic 8-Ball who has an opportunity to get in here for the late contest, just barely does it.
Yeah, going to be dropped right off the bat, though. And with that, the contest continues to happen. It's going to be a few 1-by-1 if they can manage to make it. Now PG1 coming in on the Wrecking Ball, but it's going to be Hisuya who has the mines to answer, block off a lot of paths of travel. And now the Diva, that means there are no shields coming in from the side of Team 2, but it's not really going to matter. Dontoni pushing Nick into the water, and with that, you have to think it's going to be in favor of 6ixGuns.
The environmental kills here on Gardens have just been massive. I think they got 4 environmental kills in that final fight. Hisuya getting 3. Death comes up with a huge one. Concussion rockets the McCree off the edge right as he hits a flashbang onto Hidden Shadow. The headshot would have eliminated the Tracer, would have dealt with them and given an opportunity for Team 2 to come back into the fight, but Death shuts it down, keeps 6ixGuns alive here, and now we get to head over to University.
Yeah, University going to be our final map here on Oasis. This will decide who walks away with the map of victory. And, you know, 6ixGuns got to be salivating for this. They got to really be hyping it. Wannabe is getting my hopes up on this sim, but I'm pretty sure not going to be sticking around.
No, they don't even really use the teleport to get out of spawn, which is what I thought that was going to be. They're going to be going with the Hanzo this time around. No hit scan presence to try to put the pressure onto Death. But this is where the advantage kind of shifts to Team 2. They're much more comfortable in these close quarters. We'll see if they can make it work.
Yeah, Hisuya getting a weird wraparound knock onto a lot of the members of Team 2, really disjointing them, and it seems to pay off. It seems to get them just scattered enough to not be able to fight a clean fight that they'd want here. The res going to be coming in, doesn't quite land, though. Legola going to be cut off, frozen, concussed. I think it was an accretion rock, actually. And despite a back and forth loss at the very beginning, 6ixGuns are looking in a good position to take this as soon as that Orisa falls.
Yeah, and you know this is huge for them. The last 2 points have not gone their way at the very beginning. They've given up a lot of percentage off those first caps. This time they flip the script a little bit. They win that first fight handily, and that has got to have them feeling really good about this point.
Yeah, certainly have to think so. Hidden Shadow also very close to that pulse bomb. Look forward to seeing if they can manage to land it on somebody. But interestingly enough, we're seeing PG1 switch onto the Hog, so a little bit of the old ball and chain halt hook action coming in, and it looks like we're gonna see 6ixGuns back to their old tricks. They can't contest with the Wrecking Ball as easily. And so with that, we're going to be seeing them have to really try to push and ebb and flow their way onto point. Dontoni right now trying to take a little bit of face damage, try to avoid getting the point completely flipped over as those ults try to build up. And we can see the Lucio played by Bortle trying to get people into the pit. Doesn't quite look like it's successful, and not quite sure what the plan was here, but it didn't look like there was a whole lot of engage from 6ixGuns.
No, their strategy so far when they've been in control of the point has just been to stall and hope that Death and Hidden Shadow can find the angles to get some important picks. But here on the little bit more kind of an open point of University, Hisuya doesn't have any way to hide really, and they eventually get taken care of.
Yeah, and a nice little concussion blast going right behind that Orisa shield, knocking the members of PG1 and Devil a little bit forward, just a little bit out of position. And with that, we're going to be seeing the Wrecking Ball go in, Hisuya going in dive, and Bortle getting taken down by PG1. Not the best position for this for the side of 6ixGuns to be in. Hisuya taking down that turbocharger was placed down by Devil, but the Immort field to come out in response. The shield going up to protect it for just a little bit longer.
Oh, and I love this adaptation of bringing in the Hog for PG1. The hooks are such excellent ways to lock down both Dontoni and Hisuya. Just an excellent adaptation that is really giving them an edge here on University.
It certainly seems to be. You can't argue with results in this instance. The Primal going to be online for Dontoni, but can that be enough? They have to play against a Blizzard, some Dragons, and maybe a Window if we're lucky to be thrown in there. And with that, we're already seeing some contests come on the point by the Tracer, but Wannabe quick with the turnaround, but the numbers quickly turn in favor and then back even again with the sound barrier coming online for the side of 6ixGuns. However, looks like those dragons will not find too much from the side of Wannabe. Not going to be getting too much value for them right out the gate, but Magic 8-Ball, the same cannot be said for them. They're going to find so much value with just their left click that they're going to be seen 3 times on the kill feed. Thrice is nice, as they say, and with this, it's just going to be Dontoni trying to hold the point on for as long as possible. They do not have the opportunity to back up and regroup. The Pulse Bomb trying to go out, going to take down the Immortality Field immediately. And Legola going for a very bold res onto Dontoni will end up landing it. Bortle taken down. This is not the numbers advantage that the side of 6ixGuns needs to see. They need to turn it around, get Team 2 down by some numbers, but they just don't seem to be able to clench anything. And in fact, they're losing members themselves. The Supercharger going down, trying to keep the side of Team 2 aggressive and keep them up into the faces of 6ixGuns, and it looks like it's going to succeed here. The whole hog pop just for good effect, keep everybody off the point. Overtime's going to tick down. Doesn't look like 6ixGuns are able to contest. Team 2 taking it here.
Yeah, it's a valiant effort from 6ixGuns, and they had an opportunity there. There was a moment where they had lost that kind of penultimate fight, where they had a chance to back off. There was about 90% on the board for Team 2, and Dontoni goes in completely alone. At that point, he uses his jump pack, he uses his shield, and is not really able to stick around for very long. In that situation, you've got to back off. You've got to wait until 99% to get onto the point. You don't have the option to try to take a fight at that point. You didn't have the numbers, and it ultimately kind of cost them there on University. But so far, this has been an excellent matchup.
Yeah, and I don't know if the people at home can see it, but I think those cards really kind of tell a lot about the teams. We saw the cards come up for the Pharah for the side of 6ixGuns. They had something along the lines of 48% of team damage done. Kind of really shows how 6ixGuns were leaning on that Pharah to really get some leverage there. Didn't quite seem to work out for them. I believe it was Death who was on that Pharah. But I think they might need to adapt their strategy, or at least make sure that Team 2 can't find ways to counter that Pharah.
Yeah, and early on in that map, we did see Team 2 really trying specifically to counter the Pharah. They had Wannabe playing that McCree as a direct kind of hit scan answer to the aerial Pharah, but I like the approach that they went with there on University. They just kind of decide, no, we're not going to win by dealing with the Pharah. Death was just playing too safe for the most part. He was playing at the peak of the skybox. He was not giving them the opportunities to take him down, using the map geometry really well. So they just say, no, we're going to win the fight on the ground. They switch over to the Roadhog. They deal with the tanks first, and they stop any opportunity for kind of that stall that 6ixGuns was going for, and it ultimately comes up with the win there for Team 2.
Yeah, Team 2 definitely starting off on the good foot. That does mean, however, that it will be on them to ban the next map, because 6ixGuns will have next choice. Shy Guy, if you're 6ixGuns, what are you thinking you're leaning towards in map choice?
That's an interesting question here, and it kind of depends how they want to approach the remainder of this series. If that kind of wrecking ball Winston dive is what we're going to be seeing from them for the rest of the series, then you want something a little bit more kind of open. You want kind of, I would say, some of those escort maps are pretty good, or perhaps your assault maps can really work in that situation. But if they want to go back to what we heard Dontoni, or for the first time, if what we heard Dontoni talking about earlier, the rumored Sigma Winston dive, then truthfully, I don't know. I don't know what maps that works on, because I've never seen it before.
Well, it looks like they have made their decision. It's going to be Team 2 banning Eichenwald, and Hanamura going to be the pick coming out from 6ixGuns. And before we hop into those maps, make sure, folks at home, you are keeping an eye out for whoever you think might be MVP material. Make sure you're dropping those votes in the Twitch chat. Show the team players some love as well. The winner will get to come on and do an interview, and a little small interview with me and Shy Guy at the end of the match. So we definitely want to hear your opinions on that.
So, Hanamura, I think, is a pretty solid choice if the dive is really like how 6ixGuns wants to play. I think there is a lot of open space and kind of different angles that you can take to really make those kind of compositions work on this map. But we'll just have to see, how Team 2 kind of adapts to this. I think is going to be really telling throughout this series. If they can kind of figure out what 6ixGuns are doing and learn how to play around it a little bit better, then things could get a little bit rough for 6ixGuns.
Yeah, and there's a little credit I want to give 6ixGuns in that we've seen that they're willing to play compositions that are a little bit less conventional, a little bit less standard is a fair way to say it. So maybe they have different compositions set up for those different maps as well. We only kind of got a view into Don Tony's opinion on Oasis. We did get a little bit of an idea of what they were considering running, but maybe they've built up some unique niche strategies here based on some of their player rosters, and I'm hoping we can see something a little unusual come out of the woodwork.
I want to see the Sigma Winston. That is what I am hoping for here. It was promised to me, and I'm gonna be disappointed if I don't get to see it during this series. So I've got my fingers crossed. They'll be starting out on the attack this time around. And once again, from the side of Team 2, nothing unconventional in the slightest right now. It is pretty stock standard here on the defense. Orisa, Sigma, Hanzo, Mei, Batiste, and Zenyatta in play for the defense.
Yeah, and for the offense, it's nothing locked in quite yet, but Death hovering on that Doomfist might be a little bit of an interesting option. Doesn't look like they're going to stick with it. It's going to be onto the Sombra, just probably for a little bit of scouting.
Yeah, I would have to imagine that's the case, but we'll see what he winds up going with. I could definitely see the Pharah back in play, perhaps, once he sees that there's no kind of hit scan presence on the other side. A little bit of a sleep there onto Wannabe, but luckily he's behind the shield of PG1, so able to get out safely.
Yeah, no real punish there to be had quite yet. And with that, it looks like the side of 6ixGuns are going to roll out piece by piece, it seems, but we are going to be seeing that Sigma Winston dive come in here. And with the Doomfist, I'm liking this combination so far. Curious as to what angles they're going to play. We see the side of Team 2. They're playing very far back. They're playing into the choke. They're playing into the point, rather, not into the choke, which is not something we typically see. They may be knowing that the point's a little bit harder to dive.
Oh no, and Suya already getting caught out. He gets hit with the accretion from PG1, gets halted away from the rest of his team and dealt with immediately. That's going to stall things out a little bit here for 6ixGuns if they just kind of have to wait for that respawn.
And it looks like that's exactly what they're going to be forced to do. The scouting coming out from the side of Wannabe with that sonar arrow, trying to find where Death is hidden on that Doomfist. It looks like everybody's kind of a little bit scattered on the offensive side right now, and just having to wait for that one or two people to get back can really be a little bit uncomfortable. But we're going to see the Sigma finally get back into the fight here, and it looks like the fight can really go underway. Death taking the first kill this time around onto Wannabe, and then the follow-up onto Magic Mayfall. The numbers advantage still looking great for the side of 6ixGuns. The dive coming in now in full effect. Dog Tony taking down CJ, and it's going to be all cleanup here. As soon as the numbers go, it's going to be flipped over to the side of 6ixGuns.
And it is just death incarnate there from the Doomfist there of 6ixGuns. Just comes in, gets a 4K in that fight, starts it off with two pretty much solo. And when that's what you're starting off a fight with, it's pretty easy for the dive to come in and get the cleanup they were looking for. So an excellent start here for 6ixGuns. They're going to be approaching on the low ground with Death kind of waiting in the wings, looking for an opportunity to come in on the flank.
Yeah, and we're seeing Hidden Shadow once again on this Tracer, just ready to contest from a little bit of the farther range, ready to kind of distract a little bit. But Death getting a big uppercut, claiming a lot of lives, claiming a lot of damage, and Magic Mayfall going to be dropping, and then CJ dropping. There's no support left for the defensive side. Now Wannabe going to be switching on to the Doomfist as well, but gets bullied into a corner by Death. It's a Doomfist versus Doomfist battle right now, and just like that, the second point gets captured with 4.5 minutes left on the clock, give or take.
All right, so apparently Sigma Winston dive is the best composition in the entire game right now. I mean, at least it is when you've got a Doomfist like Death, who just starts every fight by killing 2 members of the enemy team, gets both supports before things even really start off, and that is an absolutely phenomenal attack.
Yeah, I think they got the kill onto Magic Mate Ball before they could even drop the Immort Field, which is such a good ability, not to just cancel, but to completely remove from the team fight for the next however long.
Yeah, I mean, that was over in the blink of an eye. I mean, when you consider they wasted about a minute on their attack to start off with that opening pick onto Hisuya, they just had to wait before they could go in. To finish with 4:22 on the clock is just unheard of at that point. A really incredible performance there from 6ixGuns. And they're showing us right now that you don't necessarily have to play the meta right now. You can get away with quite a bit of variety at this point in time. There's a lot of different heroes that are truly viable at the moment, and I love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love to see a little bit of ingenuity coming in here. I'm curious. We saw how that composition worked out on the attack. The defense now, I'm a little bit more anxious about. I mean, obviously, I want both teams to do really well here, but I don't know how a dive is going to work on this defense in this positioning, but I think we're just going to have to wait to find out, as it's going to be the side of Team 2 rolling out, checking inside the ramen shop, making sure nobody's creeping around in there. Little do they know, Death is even farther back in their backlines, waiting to get some massive damage coming in, and he's going to try to go for the Hanzo. Doesn't quite find anything yet, then finds the connection onto Wannabe. That's exactly the kills they needed to start happening here. Devil going to take down Hisuya, again, the one member of this team to drop in this fight, but this time it doesn't look like it's for the worst off of them. They're going to be claiming some kills on this fight so far. Nick getting punched into the side of the wall by Death, and with that, the side of 6ixGuns holds firm.
I mean, right now you're just seeing the composition from Team 2. It wants to kind of sit back and it wants to be kind of pokey. It's designed around like shield break and kind of long range poke damage. But they just go in and brawl, and that is right where Legola is at home. That's right where this dive is at home, and they just tear them apart to 6ixGuns.
Certainly will. We're going to be seeing a swap onto the Roadhog by PG1, perhaps to deal with the Doomfist or the Winston, get them both kind of in an uncomfortable spot. PG1 blowing that hook, not landing on the Death, and with that, it means that Roadhog going to be a little bit useless for a while if they can't land those upfront shots, which they just get absolutely bullied by this Doomfist. As well, Nick and the rest of the team looking so scattered right now, and it's still a very good hold for 6ixGuns. It looks like this is the composition for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the swaps that we're seeing coming in from Team 2. Wannabe going over to the McCree gives them another stun opportunity to shut down kind of an individual target, either Death or Hidden Shadow when they come in. They've now got 6ixGuns caught in this little room, but that doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah, CJ actually gets bullied a little bit by Death, but he drops off the high ground right into the waiting arms of Hidden Shadow, who goes on an absolute tear after that, taking down Magic Mayfall and Devil and Nick to be reunited with their dead Baptiste. And with that, before the fight's even gotten through the choke, it's over.
Yeah, this is just phenomenal. The all-out aggression coming in from 6ixGuns is completely catching them off guard. He drops in, takes down Death, takes down Wannabe, dips out with the Meteor Strike. Death is just on a rampage.
Oh, and Bordel getting a little too caught out of position. Gets hooked, gets meleeed, and gets the kill. And the Sigma Graphlux going to be coming in, but it looks like the sound barrier is there from Magic Mayfall. Kills now going a little bit more back and forth, but it looks like the side of Team 2 have their way, have the opportunity to push on the point past the side of some of the members of 6ixGuns, and they're in a very tough spot right now, Shy Guy.
Yeah, but we do have a little bit of a Tracer duel going on at the choke point. Hidden Shadow down to 1 HP pretty much. Will probably eventually be taken down. Dontoni trying to find that they got to get to the point though.
Oh no! The Winston pops that Primal Rage just to try to get to point, but gets bullied by that Roadhog's Whole Hog ability. And with just a minute, it looks like finally the reinforcements are going to come in for the side of 6ixGuns, but it's not going to be a moment too late. They need to win this fight. They need to reclaim it. They have an opportunity for a full first point hold, but not if they lose members like this. They're not going to have enough people on the points, Shy Guy.
Indeed, they won't, and now Dontoni just needs to die so he can get that quick respawn here on point B, so 6ixGuns can reset. It all starts with the pickoff onto Bortle. Just really kicks it off. PG1 getting the nice hook there and allows Team 2 to finally get through point A. It was looking a little bit dicey there for a second, but they're already behind on time, and Death is in their back line.
Yeah, Death forces that May Ice block out from Nick. But it gets eaten. The Blizzard gets eaten by Hisuya. That is a crucial Sigma kinetic grasp. You love to see that from your Sigma play. Hisuya going to be bullied down along with Dontoni by PG1. That Roadhog finding so much value now. I doubt they'll be looking to switch off it. The Pulse Bomb going off, going to be finally putting an end to that Roadhog's rampage, but no points going over to the side of Team 2 quite yet. The time bank already looking less.
Yeah, I thought Dontoni might have been exaggerating a little bit earlier when he said Hidden Shadow is the best tracer in tier 3, but this dude is just really impressing me so far tonight. And now the rally committed as they're holding this front choke point right now are 6ixGuns. They've got people deep in the back line. Wannabe goes down. This is just chaos.
Yeah, this is absolute chaos, but it seems like chaos that the side of 6ixGuns are thriving on. That is until the Coalescence is popped by CJ. Takes down Hisuya. Death getting strangulated down to very minimal health, eventually taking the drop. There might be an opportunity for respawn advantage, or for respawns to come in from the defensive side. 6ixGuns gonna have another contest point here. Just depends on how long they decide to wait for those recontests to come in. They need to make it happen now, and the hook onto Hisuya is gonna bring them right on the point. The sound barrier going out from Magic Maypaw only gonna land onto themselves and Nick. Both the sound barriers get taken off rather quickly, however, and now we're seeing Death in the high ground, ready to punch onto somebody. It's going to be on that McCree, focusing down onto Wannabe, going to be taking them down, and surprisingly, we're going to be seeing the reclamation come in from 6ixGuns with enough time left for another fight.
Well, and that's the advantage of taking that far forward hold. Yes, they lose that fight and they lose it handily, but they have plenty of time to give up some percentage on the point, to regroup, and to come out for the recontest. Now they've got a fantastic ult economy as we're approaching the 1 minute mark.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing that Grab Flux come in. They switch to a Reaper Wannabe, no longer on the McCree, looking to perhaps just take out Hidden Shadow with a shotgun blast to the face. But again, the kills going in very early for the side of Team 2. They don't have as much time to contest the side of 6ixGuns. Can they even get anybody on point?
I'm not sure it's going to happen, and it's not. This time, the forward hold comes back to bite them a little bit. They get hyper aggressive on the defense, and Team 2 are eventually able to find the pickoffs they need. But still, only a minute remains for Team 2 to work with as they go into the second round of attacks. And we saw how much trouble they had with point A.
Yeah, we're going to see. It came down to basically a few pushes that are going to be separating point A in terms of effectiveness. A minute left on the clock for Team 2. That does not put them in the better spot. They need to make their first few pushes count and then carry that momentum forward.
Yeah, but this time around, I think they're going to be perhaps a little bit more prepared for what 6ixGuns is about to throw at them. PG1 already going to start off on the Roadhog. No more messing around with the Sigma. I wouldn't be surprised if we never see the Sigma from him again for the rest of this series, because so far it's just been getting shut down time and time again.
Yeah, but now we're looking at it a little bit of a change-up coming in from 6ixGuns. Dontoni on this Orisa may not be what they're maybe trying to play a little bit of the mind games. Team 2 might be expecting that Winston, but Dontoni's going to trip him up, play that Orisa a little bit with the Fusion Driver to pry that damage down range.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. They realize, they've only got a minute to hold here, and it does look like we're gonna get the scout coming in from Wannabe, so they'll know what they're up against. We'll see, and indeed they're gonna make the swap over to the Sigma once again here. Now they've got the kind of mirror tank matchup. I'm sure Team 2 is much more comfortable with this.
Yeah, you've got to think they're going to be Death still on the Doomfist. Not sure if they were scouted out by that Sombra, but certainly they're going to be able to be seen by now. The rosters have come online. And right now we're seeing a little bit of a slow push from Team 2. They need to be a little bit more explosive here is what I'd like to see. If they need to make something happen, the grab gonna come in, not finding anything. That valueless grab can be absolutely detrimental in a situation like this. Devil might be punching themselves in the face for that a little bit later. CJ brought dangerously low. The opportunity to capitalize on a weak Zen is not quite followed up on. The immortality field going out, and Death gets taken down first and foremost. That is a crucial loss for the defensive side. And Team 2 taking their losses, taking their lumps, and it's going back and forth right now. 6ixGuns not giving up an inch right now. Excuse my language. And with this, we just are seeing the fight go on and on, but the first tick is going to be claimed by the side of Team 2. The Halt coming in, just pulling people back, and CJ going to be a murderer of a robot Omnic right now, claiming these kills, and with that first point, going to end up going over to Team 2.
Yeah, Team 2, they're able to build up to that amplification matrix for Magic 8-Ball, and then they just kind of park themselves in the corner of the point behind the window. So much damage coming out from them, from CJ in particular. He's built up to a transcendence here as they're getting ready to push in, and pretty much every ultimate on the side of 6ixGuns is reset.
Yeah, and we're going to be seeing if they can make this work. They need to ideally give up as little progress here as possible. The Transcendence going to be coming out from CJ to keep everybody up, but a lot of spread teammates for CJ to have to keep alive. CJ, as soon as that trance drops, we're going to be seeing them get taken down, and the grab flux coming out, taking down Wannabe, but Wannabe getting some kills post-mortem with that Storm Dragon coming in, and with that, the kills flowing like water for Team 2. They need to keep pushing this advantage. Looks like they're going to at least get that first tick. That is great for them. And with that, we're going to see Doomfist try to do a little bit of contest. No, it looks like Death turns around, not quite able to get the contest. And because of that, we're going to see a full 4-point game coming in from Team 2.
And Death makes a curious decision there. He is coming in for the desperate recontest. It was always going to be difficult, but he comes out with the rocket punch and then immediately kind of slams back towards his spawn rather than getting onto the point, rather than buying a little bit more time. If he steps foot on the point for even a second, then there's an opportunity for 6ixGuns to get back out there for the recontest. They had the Wrecking Ball coming in. There's maybe a chance there, but he doesn't quite get onto the point in time to do that, and they do give up 2 points. That's an excellent result there for Team 2. They kind of find the answers this time around.
Yeah, Team 2 definitely seems to be adapting, seeming to play a little bit more methodically, take advantage where they have it. And in this instance, with 4 minutes and a half on the clock for the side of 6ixGuns, there are 3 things that can happen. They cannot take second point in that 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes if it gets captured on first point. They can capture it in overtime or with less than a minute, in which case both teams will have a shot again, or they can capture with more than a minute, which is the most ideal situation for them, meaning that the worst they could do, gonna be a draw here. You gotta think they're gonna be looking to get it over that 1 minute mark.
Yes, and I mean, if they can replicate their performance from the last attack round, then they will be in business in that regard. We'll just have to see. We're gonna be seeing a little bit of a different approach here from Team 2. Wannabe starting off on the Reaper this time around. They're going to be holding at the choke. They don't want to give 6ixGuns the room to work with.
They're certainly not going to be holding up the choke. They're pushing very far forward. Hisuya getting pushed on by Nick with that May. Coming in, getting the clean up. The Immortality Field getting cleaned up by Don Tony, but the contest already coming through by that Tracer, meaning that Reaper has to do a little bit of back tracing to kind of put the pressure onto point. That's going to clear up the choke a little bit, but it doesn't give the side of 6ixGuns much room.
No, definitely not. They are not able to get the engagement that they want, but now they've gotten Death at least through the choke. Hidden Shadow in the backlines as well, so these two DPS going to be looking for the opportunities.
Yeah, Death getting brought dangerously low, building up a little bit of shielding, but Magic 8-Ball going to be taking them down. This is certainly not the way this team wanted to play. It looks like we're seeing the Team 2 be really resourceful with their Immortality Fields. Hisuya trying to be a last member on point is going to fall.
That's one kind of weakness of the 6ixGuns composition here. They don't really have the easiest of ways to deal with the Immortality Field. If you've got kind of the traditional, like the Hanzo Mei DPS duo, for example, you've got easy ways to kind of deal with it from afar. But as is, they don't necessarily have that. They got to get up close and personal. So we'll see if they can do it this time around.
And getting CJ early on in this fight is a great boon, but they're going to have the sound barrier to counter to fight against Team 2, having that massive boost of healing. Hidden Shadow dropping the pulse bomb, getting Devil and the supercharger that is Death taking down Nick. Things are now looking much better for the side of 6ixGuns, but things are starting to slowly level in favor of Team 2. We're seeing the Doomfist Meteor Strike come in. Will Death be able to locate anybody with it? Nope, just going to be repositioning back onto point. Point slowly getting turned over and contested. Doomfist coming in. Death putting the hurt on to PG1 Sig. That Winston barrier coming in, just keeping that Reaper away with the Death Blossom. Death trying to find something, not able to. And the stall coming out right now from Team 2 is incredible. They're able to put so much damage down. Isuya taking down Devil, and with that, we gotta think we're gonna be seeing the point flip over for the side of 6ixGuns, but it just doesn't look like it's gonna happen. They gave it everything, they just did not have enough.
Oh, and it just barely comes up short, 97.4%. That's about as close as you can get without getting the flip. And now this kind of switches things around. The tenor of this map has changed completely. 6ixGuns now on the back foot. They've only got a minute and a half remaining to try and get this final pick on point A.
Yeah, now we're going to see them lean into something we saw before. We're going to see them lean into that Pharah against the Reaper. It kind of makes a little bit of sense. They have to be careful, though. Nick does still have that Blizzard ready to use or ready to activate at a moment's notice. Hidden Shadow certainly going to be looking for picks as well. They do not have time to lean on Death's Rocket Barrage, however, which we've seen them like to do. Death making sure that the supports have to stay inside that little alcove, not able to apply that much healing as they might otherwise. And the Blizzard comes out. Devil takes down Legola very early. The sound barrier coming online, hitting 5 members, everybody but Legola, who got dropped. Hidden Shadow taking down the immortality field of CJ, then taking down CJ themselves. The Pulse Bomb going out, landing on PG1. Things are looking good, but we've seen this before from the side of 6ixGuns. They need to have a lot of kills happen on point, and they need to have somebody there quickly. They need to start putting on this pressure, because otherwise those respawns are going to come in. Don Tony trying to contest Devil, who does have that barrier online for the Hammond. And right now, again, no pressure really being put onto point quite yet. It's just going to be that Mei able to stall out for as long as possible. Then the Wrecking Ball, Devil tagging in for their fallen teammate in Nick. Then the Reaper, it just does not look like Team 2 wants to give up point. They're going to keep cycling in those members, make this take as long as possible. It's definitely going to be going into overtime here. The question is, can 6ixGuns pull it through here, Sky Guy?
Yeah, they do have the advantage at this point, especially in terms of numbers on the point. It does look like they will be able to get point A at the 11th hour here with just 2 seconds remaining on the clock. But now they've got to go. They've got to get to point B, and they've got to take it in one fight.
Yeah, and this has kind of worked out a little bit for 6ixGuns, knowing how they play. This fight taking this long has given Death an opportunity to build up a large percentage of their Rocket Barrage. They're going to be taking the left side entryway into Hanamura, meaning that they aren't going to have to contest that high ground, but they're going to be seen by Wannabe. Wannabe dropping the Death Blossom, and we're going to see Death retaliate with the Rocket Barrage. However, more members drop on the side of 6ixGuns. This is not ideal for the team. The sound barrier coming in from Magic Mayfall to keep everybody healthy, wealthy, and wise. And Devil doing the body slam on the Legola means that it will just be Hidden Shadow on the point. The Tracer going to be dropping in short order, 4-3. It looks like it's going to be all wrapped up in favor of Team 2.
Indeed it will be, and they make the adaptations you have to make. 6ixGuns comes out with a really unique and unorthodox composition and a strategy that works really well the first time around. But once Team 2 is ready for it, they really make the changes that they need to in their approach. They switch up their composition a little bit. They just they kind of figure out what 6ixGuns are trying to accomplish, and they really shut it down, especially Death. If you think about that first attack, his Doomfist just went rampant. It was destroying Team 2, and they basically shut him down the second time around.
Yeah, I really have to give it up for Team 2. Their story here today has seemed to be adaptation is key in dealing with 6ixGuns. We've seen them deal with the Pharah. We're seeing them deal with the Doomfist. We're seeing the Winston Sigma dive get handled with, I'd say, to a fairly good degree. Overall, they are flexing. They're pivoting the way they need to, and it seems to be coming up in the numbers for them.
Yeah, absolutely. They're showing a quite a good deal of flexibility in their own right in terms of just the heroes that they can play and just making the changes necessary on the fly. That's a really kind of underrated skill and something that hasn't really been kind of the most important part of Overwatch in a while. You know, it's a core mechanic of the game, being able to swap your heroes at any time. But recently our metas have been a little bit more kind of stagnant if you think back over the last like year or so. So to see a team that is able to adapt like that, I really enjoy seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people kind of had the notion that Sigma Ori would still be played pretty heavily, and to see, you know, I mean, it just sounds like a broken record, but to see Team 2 kind of fix, you know, something that, you know, I don't think was on a lot of people's radars. I don't think Winston has been something a lot of people have been playing with. But to see them come out here and be like, oh, this is how we deal with this, absolutely, and they execute it to as high a degree as they are. It's not just the theory crafting; it's also the physical mechanics that go into it. It's really inspiring, to be honest with you too.
Yeah, I'm really impressed, honestly, with both of these teams so far. Like I have enjoyed this series so thoroughly so far, and I gotta say, I don't want it to end after 3 maps. I don't want 6ixGuns to go away with another 3-0 here, because this has just been nail-biter after nail-biter so far.
Yeah, and it looks like Team 2 going to be taking the wise pick, given how 6ixGuns have been playing. They're going to ban Gibraltar, so no dive coming in from 6ixGuns. But it looks like instead 6ixGuns is going to be opting into Hollywood. So before we go on to our potentially final map here, to the chagrin of me and Shy Guy casting these exciting games, make sure you guys get in your votes for that MVP so we can have them in here after this map, the next map after this, or the map after that, and give him a quick little interview. Let him know that you guys give him that love as well. So definitely throw your votes in that MVP chat below.
Yeah, and you know, if you like what you're seeing, and let's be honest, how could you not like what you're seeing? You know,
I love it.
You know, scroll up. You can tap that follow button at the top of your Twitch stream. You know, we are here every week bringing you all kinds of great tier 3 action with the All-Star Brawl, and we've got other events going on as well. You know, if you want to kind of perhaps, you know, maybe get to know these teams a little bit better, you can join our Discord community as well, to really kind of get into the Star Esports community. We've got one of the best groups of Overwatch teams in, you know, I would say in the entire scene right now, and you know, you can be a part of that as well if you join us. And then always, you know, follow us on Twitter to keep up to date with everything that we are doing here at Star Esports. We appreciate any and all of that you guys can give to us. But I want to turn your attention now to Wannabe.
Oh no, Team 2 breaking out the Torbjorn. What is this? My mind's slowly leaking a little bit.
Okay, and you know, for the first time, for perhaps really the entire series, we're getting something a little bit more conventional coming out from 6ixGuns, going with that Orisa Sigma tank duo here, as well as Death back on that Pharah.
Yeah, I think they may have been opting for the Torbjorn to deal with the Winston. You know, that Torbjorn has that E ability that can just pound so much damage in with the right clicks. Doesn't look like it's going to quite be necessary here. And already we see the side of 6ixGuns slowly and surely taking this quarter angle, death spotting out that turret, taking it down, making sure that it doesn't provide unnecessary poke. Then taking down Wannabe, making sure that the turret will no longer be an issue into the rest of this fight. The immortality field is going to be going down from Magic Mayfall, who keeps everybody alive, but they are still man down. It doesn't look like 6ixGuns getting too aggressive on it just yet. They're going to wait for death to fly over the building and then pry that leverage even firmer into the sides and backs of the Team 2 roster. And right now, Team 2 looking a little bit bullied. Looks like they don't quite know how they want to handle this. Nick getting hit by an accretion rocket point blank. And despite, you know, what's looking like a pretty good fight for the side of 6ixGuns, it hasn't quite gone all the way in their favor yet. But with that rocket barrage from Death, looks like it finally will. Death going to continue chasing even onto this Orisa played by Devil.
And once again, like we saw in Hanamura, they're coming out guns blazing here on Hollywood. 6ixGuns, they come out with something a little bit more conventional. They perhaps kind of anticipate some adaptation from Team 2 and they punish it. They have the superior poke comp, but they're already dealing with this coalescence coming out from CJ.
Yeah, the coalescence is coming in from CJ, but if they can weather the storm, it looks like it may not provide that much value. And in fact, it didn't. It looked like they were just more than willing to just back off and let it ride. Legola going to be popping the Valk in response, however. And once again, we're going to be seeing 6ixGuns just pry these angles very easily, very early. Looks like the swap will have gone off of the Torb, not too much of a surprise there. The window coming out from Magic Matefall, Nick going to be getting the kill onto Hisuya, but kill still going back and forth. Death still taking out CJ, meaning that Moira is not going to be able to build that coalescence for the next team fight. It's going to be crucial to keep an eye on as this game unfolds, but for the time, it looks like 6ixGuns are going to be taking a little bit of a knee.
Yeah, they'll just wait for their respawns. They've got the much closer spawns here, so they will be able to take a 6v5 fight here. A Blizzard going to be committed from Nick, though.
Yeah, it looked like we were going to be seeing some reduced death with Bortles Immort field, but Nick placing that Blizzard just away to where it freezes people outside of the Immort field. Not going to quite be able to get the success that they wanted there. Couple ults invested from 6ixGuns to no avail.
And now that we've got, you know, Team 2 back on kind of a composition that makes a little bit more sense. They got Wannabe on the Hanzo yet again. They've got the shield break that you need to kind of go toe-to-toe with what 6ixGuns are bringing to the table. They're finding quite a bit of success, and, you know, so far so good on this point B defense.
Yeah, and Don Tony taking down Wannabe means that now the side of 6ixGuns will be able to take advantage a little bit more of those angles, not have to worry about as much one-shot potential. However, Nick takes down Don Tony. Hidden Shadow going to be cleaning up here. The Storm Dragons coming in, trying to apply that damage, and in fact will find Magic Matefall. That is a crucial loss. No Immort field, none of that massive VAP healing coming in. And with that, with a few ult investments, quite a few ult investments, it looks like 6ixGuns are going to keep the cart rolling.
Yeah, as soon as, you know, Wannabe goes down in that fight, that high ground position loses kind of all the power that it had. PG1 is disconnected from the rest of the team, and they collapse onto the Sigma. You know, once they get those couple of picks, it's really impossible for Team 2 to bring it back. So they'll just regroup and come in for this defense. A nice accretion there knocks Wannabe off the top high ground, but still no kills coming in just yet.
Yeah, not quite able to follow up with that kill on to Wannabe. The Dragons coming in sounds like they're flying in from the way back, or into the way back rather. Wannabe going to be taking down Death the good old-fashioned way, however. Both Immort fields coming out and taken down almost immediately. The Supercharger coming out from from Devil rather. Not going to be finding too much as it gets torn down rather quickly, but the kill's still flowing in from Team 2. They're going to succeed in the hold here.
They don't even really need those bongos coming in from Devil as they just push forward aggressively. Now they regain control of the cart, and they've already done an excellent job of bleeding the time off of the clock here on point B, where we're down to about a minute and a half remaining for 6ixGuns, and they seem to kind of be searching for answers at this point.
Yeah, it's now them who has to kind of adapt a little bit here. The May Blizz are going to be going out, catching both the tanks out, but the Ori able to fortify. Don Tony walking away with their life. Death continuing to play on this Pharah, getting two with the Rocket Barrage. That may be enough if they can revitalize themselves and push even four ahead. The Grab Flux going to be coming in, however. The Mercy coming out with that Valkyrie, keeping everybody as alive as possible. Hidden Shadow taking down PG1 as Bortle falls in kind. And with that, we're seeing a little bit of a backup from Magic Mayfall. Pops that Immort field just to keep themselves up long enough to break that line of sight.
And now a nice res coming in is going to let 6ixGuns just push forward with the numbers at this point. There will be an opportunity for Team 2 to re-aggress, to get back in here for a final fight on point B. They're backing off, giving up a little bit of space, but they are about to be pushing into a war chest of ultimates on the side of 6ixGuns.
Yeah, 6ixGuns might want to play this a little bit slow for the once. It's going to be Death, who does not have to rely on their ultimate here. The Supercharger coming out, but so do the Dragons. It's going to be Wannabe firing those Dragons ahead, meaning that Bortle's Immort field gets torn down. The Grab Flux going to be catching two, Nick and Devil. Devil caught in the air, actually clipped down by Bortle. And with this, the Dragons now returning, this time from the side of Hidden Shadow. Wannabe taking them out, but then quickly taken down by Death. It's looking very brawly right here, but the offense needs to make something happen because the respawn a little bit more favorable from the defense. And we're seeing Magic Matefall on this high ground. So powerful with the healing, but he's going to be contested by Bortle. Has to drop off as that Baptiste starts to pry those bullets into him. The Immort field coming in. It's just going to be kept up, keeping up the Sigma and the Baptiste himself. And with that, Magic Mayfall gets cleaned up. So does PG1. It's going to be the Orisa and May coming back onto the field to try to drop that. And Death dropping the Rocket Barrage, going to take down Wannabe as they take them down themselves. And with this, despite what was looking like a very good push for 6ixGuns, a lot of ultimates on the field, it looks like Team 2 might be walking away with just the BAP on the cart. They get cleaned up. Overtime's going to tick down. That Tracer there to just touch at the very last minute. Hidden Shadow might be trying to find something here, as will the Hammond, played by Don Tony this time around. Hisuya is still going to be on that Sigma with the Grab Flux ready to go. Don Tony trying to make something happen, doesn't. The overtime ticks down, and with that, just a point captured and a lot of change for the side of 6ixGuns.
And it just kind of peters out there towards the end. For 6ixGuns, the amount of healing that Magic 8 was throwing down in that final fight was just bonkers. He's lobbing in those grenades. He was, for most of it, just kind of untouched on the high ground. Eventually drops down, but he did such a great job of keeping his team alive in that situation. They couldn't deal with the immense amount of AoE heals that you've got between that Batiste and the Moira. You know, one of them goes down, and you've still got a team's worth of healing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they're definitely playing their composition right. It definitely put the clamps to the side of 6ixGuns. I think 6ixGuns gonna have to really kind of reconsider their options here if they want to keep going with the comp they were running. It looks like Winston Sigma's gonna be on their menu though.
Yeah, you know, I guess they've decided, you know, if we're gonna go down here, we're gonna go down doing what we love, what we do best, and they're going to be going back to kind of the, I guess I'm gonna call it's the 6ixGuns special.
I like that. I like that name. We're keeping that as the name in the rest of this tournament, the 6ixGuns special. I think it's a little unfortunate that they decided to break it off on, or they decided to bring it out on the defense. I mean, you know, a lot of times, if you're on the defense and you pull out a niche comp like this or a specialty comp, it gives the attackers more time to kind of counter pick without being punished as much. But that being said, that's just the way the chips are going to fall for them. We're going to be seeing them nestled up high into, I believe it's a theater or cafe area, ready to just drop in right behind the side of Team 2, see if they can get some early kills.
Okay, but they've dropped right into the middle of Team 2, actually, and Legola are going to be dealt with immediately.
Yeah, and it looks like the Sombra may have just been for scouting, but Wannabe going to be getting some kills with it instead. In fact, it looks like Wannabe going to be getting more than just a kill or two. Going to be cleaning up onto Bortle as well. The point already coming across, getting unlocked. And with that, the first tick is captured within 30 seconds.
And they're going to get a second one, too. It's going to take a little bit of time for 6ixGuns to get back in here for the recontest. They're barely even going to be able to do it. And in fact, they really don't.
Yeah, there's not going to be the option there. And by the way, Hidden Shadow, I saw that. A little bit of the BMs, but you got what you deserved. And with that, Don Tony going to be trying to walk away. Not going to be so successful, and that is Wannabe guns them down with that SMG by Sombra.
Well, they kind of just shot themselves in the foot with 6ixGuns, I guess. They have no more toes at this point. And, you know, it really is just kind of a huge gamble that they took on point A, going for that far forward hold. It comes back to bite them now. They've got to come up with a Herculean defensive hold here on point B.
Yeah, I think it could have worked. They just needed to be a little bit more disciplined. However, that is for the past. We'll have to see if they can execute this time around. Bortle getting hacked, meaning that Lucio not going to be as sufficient at healing this time around. Magic 8's Immort Field getting taken down by Hidden Shadow. The brawl just occurring on point. Hisuya going to be taken down by CJ. And with this, kills going mostly in favor of Team 2. It will be Don Tony who gets the last opportunity to contest. Will be probably one more opportunity for the side of 6ixGuns, though.
Yes, but I don't think their odds are very good. Just look at everything they're about to push into on the side of Team 2. By the end of the fight, it should be every single ultimate for the attackers. They're going to drop that Blizzard really early on in this fight, going to make the contest incredibly difficult.
Yeah, if there even is going to be a contest, it looks like there will. Of course, I'm not going to give up the point that easily. The Sal barrier coming in from CJ, landing onto all 6. PG1 getting 2, just some massive ult value coming in here. The EMP just to lock down Legola. And with that, the card's going to casually roll into the second point of Hollywood. We're going to be seeing it go 3-0 in favor of Team 2.
Well, 6ixGuns, they go out not with a bang, but with a little bit of a whimper here on Hollywood. It just doesn't seem like this was their map. You know, this time around, they couldn't get the attack that they needed. They went for kind of an all-in strategy on the defense, and it doesn't quite work out. So For as entertaining as a series as this really truly was the entire way through, it kind of ends a little bit anticlimactically, but still, 6ixGuns, they have to be commended for their willingness to go kind of off book and try their own thing, forge their own path here in this tournament. I'm going to be fascinated to see what they can do against some other teams, because Team 2, they are right up there with the best teams that we have in this tournament. So if 6ixGuns can find some competition that might not quite be at this level, they're going to be a really scary team, I think.
Yeah, I absolutely could not agree more. This means that now, of course, Team 2, or not Team 2, excuse me, the side of 6ixGuns are going to be going into the losers bracket. It is not over for them by any stretch of the imagination. So we're going to have to see kind of where that takes them. I'm very much so looking forward to it. I believe they will be playing No Use for a Name in the losers bracket, as Scion will be playing up against our winner from today, or from this round rather, Team 2. So definitely some interesting games on the horizon. Looking forward to seeing how these teams develop and evolve. And yeah, overall, a very exciting match here tonight.
Yeah, that Team 2 Scion game in particular, I think is just going to be a real treat to watch. Both of those teams came out swinging here tonight. They showed us why they are two of the favorites, I would say, in this tournament going forward. And I cannot wait to see them duke it out next week. As for 6ixGuns, they'll be taking their unique compositions, their different strategies into the lower bracket. We'll see what kind of run they can make. But we'll just I'm pumped to kind of keep an eye on them for the rest of the tournament, because at the very least, it's going to be entertaining when they're playing.
Yeah, I certainly loved watching 6ixGuns. I hope again this isn't the last we've seen of them. And while we wait here, folks, we are just waiting for those final MVP votes to get tallied, waiting for word from our producer to hear who's going to be hopping into chat with us to have a little bit of a post-game interview, see how they're feeling about all of that. And Shy Guy, if you had to put a name out there, who do you think?
This is actually really, really tough. I'm trying to think. I kind of want to give it to Hidden Shadow on the side of 6ixGuns, even though they come away with the loss. I thought his Tracer play was just phenomenal throughout the series. Like that guy was doing things that I haven't seen in a long time, in part because we haven't seen Tracer in the meta for a long time.
Yeah.
But like he made PG1's life just a living hell at times. Just every pulse bomb seemed to be destined to go onto the off tank of Team 2, and he really impressed me.
Yeah, overall, I couldn't agree more. Very suitable candidate as well. I also liked Death just because I like the Doomfist. I think 6ixGuns definitely has a very suitable, a very appropriate DPS core there in that lineup as well. I mean, I think a lot of good names on Team 2 as well. I think CJ had some pretty decent plays. Magic 8-Ball always seemed to have those Baptiste windows in some very good positions, but it looks like Shy Guy with the people's choice is going to end up going towards Hidden Shadow, so we end up getting a little bit of your wish here.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited to talk to him and speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Hidden Shadow joins us now for a little bit of a post-game interview. I know you didn't come away with the win here tonight, my man, but how are you feeling after that match?
I'm feeling pretty good, got to play with my boys again. It's been a while. We took a little bit of a break after our LAN tournament at the NCS Grand Finals, so, it feels good to be back, though. We scrimmed like one time, but hey, I like to blame that loss on D'Antoni. Just
so.
Well, if that's how you guys look after one scrim, I can't wait to see you once you kind of get back into the swing of things. I was pretty impressed. I gotta say, like, I want to know whose idea the Sigma Winston dive composition was. Who theory crafted this in the first place?
So I don't know, I guess from my perspective, it's just sort of like a just amalgamation of like everyone just kind of being like, yeah, I like this, our coach, Mr. Hype House TV, he's been working with people like Solheim, and he's been working with the boys, and we come together and we pick our favorite heroes and stuff, except for Sigma, and we sort of played to our strengths. You know, you see Death's Farah and stuff, and then the obvious the Winston. So it's kind of like a mix of making stuff work that we like. So yeah.
I mean, making stuff work, definitely. I think we definitely saw that, particularly on Hanamura. We were big fans of watching some of that gameplay unfold. If I'm going to speak for myself and Shy Guy there. Now, this being said, obviously it wasn't a perfect game for you guys. Do you think you were able to walk away with anything that you can look at and say this is something maybe we can focus on to improve our chances in the lower brackets?
Yeah, we definitely can work with some stuff here. I mean, I'm definitely gonna blame it on like not practicing enough and sort of being unprepared. But after we get some scrims in, we're definitely come back like fighting a lot better.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Jay.
It seemed like you guys, at least a little bit, when you first broke out that comp on Hanamura, it really kind of caught Team 2 off guard for a little bit. But what do you think they kind of did over the course of the series to kind of adapt to what you threw at them?
So it looks like they started doing some advanced level baiting where they would be like, oh, they send out one guy or two, and then they sort of like spread out, right? So they confuse us, and then basically, oh, it's like one person's over here, one person's over here, we don't know who to go on, and then they just collapse back in on us. So that was an issue that they sort of adapted, and that's really good of them. It was really smart. Yeah.
What else you got, Shy Guy?
I really think that kind of covers it for me. I mean, I guess I'll close with this. As we move into 2020 and we look into the kind of the near future, what are kind of the goals for 6ixGuns as a team?
6ixGuns, definitely we want to just keep working on our craft here, keep beating on our thing. We want to get better and sort of shoot for the stars, right? We want to come back, we want to win in winners bracket, we don't want to drop out and stuff. We want to make a show, basically. It has to be people like watching us. We want to we want to have fun too, have big wins.
Well, certainly look forward to some big wins coming out from you guys throughout the rest of this tournament. But I'll go ahead and give you the last word here, Hidden Shadow. Anything you want to say to your fans who might be watching on Twitch?
Thank you very much to all the lads who have been spectating us, to all the supporters, and thank you to all the people who talk crap about us. Thank you to all of you. I love reading your messages, and I take that to heart. And that's why I'm going to come back, and I'm going to keep juicing so hard that I will never lose again. I'm literally going to be so good at the game. Also, shout out to, let me think. Legola. Shout out to Legola. Thank you, Legola.
Some big love going out there, and some big power tips coming out from Hidden Shadow as well. Hidden Shadow, thank you very much for coming in here and answering a few of our questions, my friend.
Thanks a lot, boys.
You take care. Now, with that, Shy Guy, I believe we are about ready to wrap up, so I will go ahead and do the honors, if you don't mind. For those of us here at the Overwatch All-Stars Brawl number 4, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in, listening in, and watching some great games of Overwatch for your casting entertainment. I have been Sir Waltham. You can catch me on Twitch or Twitter at Sir Waltham.
And I've been Shy Guy. You can find me on Twitter at ShyGuyOW. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight, and we will see you all next time here at Star Esports.
Take care, everybody.